today we're going to have a Q&A with you, and I would like to ask you some questions about your school. And I would like to start with what the parents usually ask first when they meet you.
Well, actually it depends on the parent, but most of the time they are interested in knowing the tuition fees. It's not that they actually directly ask you that, but this is what they have in mind. You can tell by the way they look at you and by the look on their faces when you try to tell them things about the teaching process. It's in the back of their head. This is what they are really interested in, especially nowadays due to the financial crisis.
And do they care about events, contests, and in general the social activities that you may organize as a school?
Well, sometimes they do ask about that. Of course, this is not their top priority. After explaining everything, they may ask you something to do with, all the events we may organize over the year or at the end of it. Okay. But they really, when I tell them that we do actually do something like that, they like it and
they're positive.
It. Yeah.
And what are the teaching methods that you use as a school?
Well, first of all, we have a lesson plan for all the levels, and which is actually base focused, but not only that. It's to do with methodology. It's devised by me personally for all levels of books we adopt as a school. And the aim of the plan is to follow the methodology we have actually endorsed as a school, and to be sure that all teachers are more or less at the same level at the same time.
And do you prefer native or bilingual teachers?
Well, what's important to me is the fact that the teacher should have a good pronunciation, not accent. The accent is important too, but her pronunciation or his pronunciation should be correct, because the students actually imitate the teacher's voice, and this is my top priority. Another thing is that, well, if they are native speakers, I want them to be able to understand Greek, not use it actually in class, but I want them to be able to understand the language, because the students feel comfortable when we want to say something in Greek sometimes, their native language. L1 is very important, and we should actually make them feel that they can express themselves, and sometimes it doesn't matter whether this is L1 and not L2.
And do the parents prefer the school to be more strict or lenient towards students?
That's the question. Well, there are parents who appreciate the fact that we are strict, because we are strict, and we don't overdo it, but there are certain rules students and teachers alike must follow and obey. There are other parents who prefer teachers, more lenient teachers. Of course, we explain that as a school we have a certain line, certain limits, which we actually don't like students to cross.
Okay.
And we try to tell them that this is to their own good.
Good. And what do you ask from a teacher?
What's really important to me is that the personality of the teacher. Because I believe that if somebody is a good person, is a loving person, then this is something students actually understand and they feel it. Of course, the qualifications, which is tomorrow.
It's okay.
So, the qualifications, the teacher's license, of course, and everything. And I want them to be on time, to be professionals, to follow the school's rules that apply to them. I want them to follow the plans, and I want them to be devoted to what they do, because I think that this is what makes the difference. To be devoted, to be focused on that, to love children, and to be really imaginative and resourceful.
Great. And what makes you stand out from other schools?
Well, I would say that this is something to do with lots of things. First of all, it's the fact that we actually love what we do. It's something like...
And the experience that you have all these years?
Yeah, this is to do with that as well. But mostly I think it's something that has to do with the determination and the devotion towards what we do. And this is what makes us want to incorporate new technologies, new methodologies, strategies, and to do whatever we can to use new and imaginative ways of teaching. And we try to do something different every year, so as to show that we are always present, and the newest developments to do with teaching or technology are always welcome, and that we are at a school that incorporates everything.
And that you evolve, let's say.
Yeah, of course. But this is a sign, yes, this is something that shows that you don't actually stay still. You don't actually think, okay, I know everything, because there is no such thing as knowing everything, especially when it comes to teaching. And of course, I would say, there is this organization. Everything is very well organized. Good. And the staff, which is really important, they are carefully selected and recruited by us. We actually avoid recruiting new staff whenever this is not really necessary, because teachers are something like an asset to the school, and we invest on them. And of course, I would like to say that I think that the working environment is something that makes us actually stand out, because I think that all people who work here are really pleased.
Okay, I won't ask you something else. I'm covered. Thank you for your time, and happy holidays.
You too!